Hi there, my name is Mr. Pete. I am a fourth grade teacher. I'm currently reading The Lemonade War with my class, so hi to all my fourth graders. But this is also a resource for any teacher that's out there, any student who's out there across the world who is looking for a book to read for guided reading or is looking for a guided reading book, Lead Circle book. I do analyze. This isn't for everybody, but I do hope that you give it a chance because this is where we can attack the text and dive into it. So those of you that are struggling, perhaps trying to figure things out or are looking for a little more depth, this is a way to do that. To those of you that just like to listen to the words and check it off because your teacher asked you to read this, go through the analyzing. Take the extra few minutes. Listen to how I talk about it. Ask me questions. That's where you'll get the depth. That's where you'll make this book part of who you are so that you can answer all those questions that your teacher's going to ask you the same way I'm going to ask my kids. All right, to my kids, setting at the top, we're now going to Evan, and we are actually leaving the house, but we're going to a brand new location today. He was off to the school to go to the basketball court, and he wanted to play basketball, but he also had that money with him. So, chapter 13, crisis management. Noun, special or extraordinary methods and procedures used when a business is in danger of failing. We know that his business is in danger of failing for sure. He's done selling lemonade. He's going to lose this, but now he has all of Jesse's money and she's just coming home from the beach. Here we go. Sucker! Oh man, you were schooled. Preschool baby. For the third time that afternoon, Scott Spencer had gotten the drop on Evan, dribbling around him and then hitting the easy layup. So the guys were giving him the business. Even the ones on his own team. It was Evan, Paul, Ryan, and we know all three of Evan, Paul, and Ryan, against Kevin Toomey, new character, Malik Lewis, new character, and Scott. Evan wished that Scott hadn't shown up, but he had, and they needed the sixth guy for 3-on-3, since Jack had gone home to ask his mom if they could all swim at his house. So what was Evan supposed to say? Anyway, Evan was 3 times the ball handler that Scott was, and everyone knew it, so it was all in fun. But it didn't feel like much fun to Evan. So remember how Jesse was feeling coming home with Megan. She just didn't feel right. Now, again, the irony here is that Evan is feeling the same way. It's also important to note Evan's a good basketball player, and he's not playing very well right now to Scott Spencer. They just said he's a better player, but Scott is schooling him. What's up, man? Paul asked. Evan dribbled the ball back and forth, left hand, right hand, and then through his legs. Hey, it's hot, he said. Yeah, it's hot for all of us, said Paul. Get your game on, dude. But Evan couldn't get his moves right. He was a half step behind himself, and every time he moved, the envelope slapped against his thigh like a reprimand. Highlight that. Simile, comparing the smacking of the envelope to a reprimand. Highlight reprimand in a different color, vocab word. If you don't know what reprimand is, your parents do it, I do it to my students sometimes. It's when you're doing something wrong and someone tells you to do it right. So it's a really interesting simile in that every time that money smacks on his leg, it's like it's telling him, put me back. You're doing the wrong thing. Speaking of hot, said Ryan, everyone turned to look. Jack was coming up the path, running at a dead dog pace. Oh, please, God, said Paul, let her say yes. As soon as he was in range, Jack shouted, she said yes. What's up? Asked Scott. Jack asked his mom if we could all go swimming in his pool, Kevin said. Hey, Jack, shouted Scott, can I come too? Yeah, sure, said Jack, who'd stopped running toward them and was waiting for them to join him on the path. Oh, great, thought Evan. But he wasn't about to turn down a dunk in a pool just because Scott Spencer would be there. Nobody wanted to go home for suits and towels. Kevin, Malik, and Ryan were wearing basketball shorts anyway, so they could swim in those. We've got enough suits at the house, said Jack. My mom saves all our old ones. At the house, Evan changed into one of Jack's suits. He wrapped up his underwear and shirt inside his shorts and put the bundle of clothes on the end of Jack's bed next to all the other guys' piled up clothes. It felt good to drop the heavy shorts with the envelope stuffed in the pocket. Then, just to be sure, he put his shoes on top of his pile of clothes. He didn't want anything happening to that money. Boys and girls, I highlighted that whole paragraph. He goes into the room. He changes. His money is now no longer on him. It's now in a pile with everybody else's clothes. So you should be making a prediction right here. They played pool basketball all afternoon, even though the teams were uneven. Mrs. Bagdasarian brought out drinks and cookies and chips and sliced up watermelon. Every time one of them went into the house to use the bathroom, she shouted, "Dry off before you come in," but she did it in a nice way. So everybody's going in to use the bathroom. Then, just when Evan thought the afternoon couldn't get any better, it did. Scott had gone into the house to go to the bathroom. A few minutes later, he came out dressed, his hair still dripping down his back. "I gotta go," he said, jamming his foot into a sneaker. "Did your mom call?" asked Ryan. "Nope, I just gotta go," he said. "See ya." He ran out the gate. "Great," shouted Evan. "Now the teams are even." And they went back to playing pool hoops. Evan didn't think about Scott Spencer for the rest of the afternoon. He didn't think about Scott Spencer until he went into Jack's bedroom to change back into his clothes and noticed that his shoes were on the floor and his shorts weren't folded up. Probably should make a prediction here. It's probably a pretty easy one. So, again, kind of a short chapter telling about Evan feeling very upset about everything, knowing he's doing the wrong thing, still having a little bit of fun, thinking about his sister, thinking about the money, and now we don't know what happened to the money, if anything happened to it, but we know Scott Spencer left. When Evan went in, his stuff was all on the floor. The next time we read, chapter 14, reconciliation. Reconciliation. Highlight that vocab. Reconciliation. That's when people come together. This is our last chapter. Win-win, win-lose, lose-lose. What would have to happen for this to become a win-win situation? Are we too late? Is the money gone? Who has it? Here we go. Again, to everybody who is reading, to my kids, awesome job today. To everybody else, awesome job to you too. But again, click subscribe if you're reading this book. I have some other really cool books on here as well. I'm going to be reading more. So please leave comments, hit subscribe, hit the bell, do all of those awesome things. If you're a teacher, again, leave comments. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know if you have any recommendations for books. Thank you so much. Have an amazing night. I will see my class tomorrow, or Monday, and I will see everybody else on the next page. Peace.